I'm selling into the pound right here. Look at this run. This is the kind of stuff people aren't expecting. So if you're blowing up your account, so yeah, of course, I told everybody I was trading a 10K with a 20 pip stop and I was pulling the trigger like a madman. But here now, this is the same account, believe it or not. Still at $1,000. I'm putting sell limits up here. Look at this retrace on the. This is why it's so vicious and people just can't even get their head. It's just unbelievable. I don't know if news is coming out. There's news coming out at 11, maybe, crude oil. It's just out of control. So we're trading this thing. I'm going to sell the top of the pound all over again with this demo. I'm putting in these 18Ks. There's enough money in the account. We're only using 270. See how much you're using. I could probably get the account back to $5,000 if I wanted to. I just don't want to. It's too much work. So here's the stacks I'm putting in. And I can afford this ticket even now. So it's about getting in and out of the market. And I got in and I got out. And I'm like, you know what? This is going to be crazy up here because we're up and we're probing into these new highs. But there's a problem with how fast we can get there, the momentum. See, this is the half-hour chart. And we just blasted up. Okay, news must be coming out right now at 11. We're either going to blast down or keep blasting up. I got enough money. We go either way on this. I didn't put any buy limits in. The buy limits start down here, and I bought this trap earlier. Let me show you on the. You can see it on the 1 hour there. So this big thing here, and it's kind of like its own auction. We could take out the high of the day. We really could right now. I'm going to sell into it, believe it or not, and above it. So I'm going to new highs today. Looks like the pound's going to go ripping off, blowing off the top of this. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. So the thing is, it's happening every day here. They're going to go, then they're going to take out the high of the day. I got sell limits up there. We're going to capture that. I'm going to sell about 300K up there. Look at this thing. It just blows people's minds. They're like, I thought it was topped out. Yeah. All this supply, we're selling this. Got $900 in the account. Okay, so we're only using a quarter of the margin. And so this is a great example of, and these are 8-hour scripts. So this is today's trade, and we could still make a higher high coming into Wednesday, and we could go for it right now and then retrace, but I'm selling here. For the moment, I'm short. I'm short back into this kind of fair value, but like, look how we're just gonna run across the border. It's like a crisis. It's another border crisis. Like they can't have enough crises, so they have to get these bozos in there that are going to just go full return on us. We got a problem there at the border, but this is the run for the border here. Look at this. Look at this pound. You can't stop the almighty pound. Look at this thing. Look at it. Now this is the capture window. And I'm selling kind of back in the doji, which is fair value. I'm just going to make that a fair value kind of thing there. Because look at this. This is the kind of trade that makes a lot of money. And this is only 12 hours, really down, up, right? You're selling here. I mean, come on. That is the most ridiculous retracement. That's a fake move. So I sold that and I got sells above it. And so you switch time frames and you're like, okay, I see where we're at on the 4 hour. You're like, can we take out the high of the day? Yeah, we could take out the high of the week. Never underestimate the wild volatility, because if we haven't completed this week yet, we started off here. The beginning of the week, here was the opening bell. We retested that like we typically do. This just looks like a 1 hour chart of Asia, right? No secret here. I know the ICT is going to tell you got to listen to 40 minutes of his nonsense, but we all know that we will retest possibly the opening of the session. This is the beginning of the week, is also an hourly chart. You don't always do that, but it's more to me about, I'm buying this area right on limits. So I put all limits in there. And then we even go lower. So here's where you start to put in the fat tickets, because you actually take out that opening. I think we actually opened here, went up. But this is I guess you'd call it an order block. And then you can start selling up here. Now, this seems really kind of ridiculous, but that's why trading at the market, that's why I destroyed the account, see? Because if you start selling, you think it's going to tank, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to start selling here with a 20 pip stop on a 10K, one trigger pull. There's not even any diversification in that ticket. I really should have that one be a stack. Okay, here, come back off the top now. So I'm short into it. We filled on limits, and we're just going to ride it back a little bit. I don't want to sell at the market here unless I think, oh, I just want to get, but you know what? Better to. So I have the Trader's Way account, which is not. It's only made $200 so far. I think I was up 300, and now I'm only up $80 because I got into the sell. When this thing took off ripping here, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. What's going on? And this is I think, crude oil news. I don't know. 11 o'clock. It started about, I put sell limits up there, and then I went to make some more coffee, and I look and I see, I'm in this position. I can't believe. I'm like, what, really? And I thought, well, it'd be great if they could run it up there again. Run it up the flagpole, guys. Because if this is like the last gasp of the bulls, oh yeah, just crush it here. Pull this thing all the way back to the beginning of time, at the beginning of the day. So get a load of this tick chart here. This is where we just ripped. And that was basically where we're at now. And some of these, if you're going to trade very high frequency. So if I would have, in the last video, I said we were at 12,000, we could just got out. We were up $2,000 on the account. I said, let's let it go. I'm not going to fucking babysit a demo account. I know what the trade should be. I know where you're supposed to get in, get out. Everybody knows. Even the moving average guys are like, yeah, we're in an uptrend. I should have bought that pullback. I mean, the guy that missed that trade or the guy that run too tight a stop, he knows. It's not a secret. The thing is that when this move happened here, like say you were short the pound and you're like, wow, that's going to be nice. That is like the tippy top of that. Because if you look at the daily, you have to make the probably obvious conclusion that it is like tippity toppity top. I mean, it's like it's in 3-year highs. It is insane. Look at this hour, the daily. So all the trading that's been going on, I mean, you can make a mint right in here. This is, in the last 2 days, you've moved all that amount of movement. So you take all this and you fix the scale inside of properties and you start to drill, you start to imagine these trades. What time frame you want to trade that? That's the daily. Now, believe it or not, there's people with moving averages on the daily waiting for an entry, but no, it's not going to work for me. So I'm going to go to the 4-hour. People say drop down their time frame. Obviously, you see that all the supply and demand going on here. I think where people go wrong is that they got a template like this, and your typical thing is people have it like this, and they say, well, I'm just going to go with let the computer fix the scale, and then they're going to zoom out. And this is just torturous. And they go to let's drill down to the 5-minute chart to see the trade. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, here's the order block, right? You're short now. But when you go to this, here's the daily, and you're like, that's in an uptrend. What should we do, guys? Well, I don't know. Wow, that's really overbought. That's stretched out, isn't it? Like, I think even the swing traders be selling up here. I guess it's your way you frame the market. So if you look at this, now you go to the 5-minute with the computer fixing the scale. Oh, hell yeah. Inverted hammer here. You should have pulled the trigger, but what's the perspective? This is the 15 coming down. Now the computer's picking the frame for me. So if I go to the daily, I can't really see what's going on. I can't even see my tickets. They're like so close together. So you would have to switch time frames to see your trade. Okay, I'm on the 15. Look at this blast. This is incredible. So here's what I think was the cause for this blast is that, yeah, the market's walking down. Everybody's aware of this. And don't forget the robots that have trailing stops and the robots that are going to get in on a break of this, the first new high. That is the first new high in 15 minutes, and it just clears that out, right? That's why the market moved like that. It isn't because of some kind, to me, it's not. It couldn't be. Just like the crush in here. if you're buying every 15 minutes that drops, you built this whole position. Aren't you going to get out when it comes back to this? Aren't you? Yeah. So everybody's getting out the order block. Duh, ICT. The question is, are you there to pull the trigger? Did you just nail that? Or I actually started selling here early. If I can get this really fat here, and then we come back and I see I'm up $1,000, hell yeah, I'm getting out. It's not a demo then, right? I would say my exit needs to be like just coming back here. Because now after this explosion, it's just like, oh my God. Actually, you could just, I've seen the British pound just go, well, fuck that. We're just going here. Go to Hannah forex trade. We're just going down the tubes real fast. Anyways, I just thought I couldn't resist doing a video about this. It was ridiculous. Uncalled for. And I guess if I was going to be aggressive, if these were a 1 hour scripts, like, okay, so coming back to earth a little bit, let's scalp this, right? I'm presupposing you're in a country where you can hedge. So here you just kind of, you're short, but you know what? Let's scalp that. That's obvious. 1 hour, but you're also setting up a different, and you just trade one currency this way. You don't have to pay attention to one currency. Now we come flying back, and maybe I think that, oh, you know what? That's too close. I'm going to pluck that off. That's 1 hour. So I'm asking the market to drop this far in 1 hour. That's a 15-minute chart. Here's the 5. Their buyers are already coming in. So, right, I could scalp out now. Because you know that the 5-minute guys are buying now. So if you're short, maybe you get out here. So that's the whole problem is like, do you let your profits run? I mean, yeah, that you nailed that trade. That's good. Just get the fuck out. Yeah, if you did that, you'd actually build the account, but it's a lot of work. A lot of work. But if you put in some monster fucking, I don't give a fuck, sell limits way up in Disneyland, there's 10 grand in the account, you're risking $500 in the trade. Yeah, you make 2 grand, right? You'd say, oh, I survived that. Like I said in the last video, this guy's, you blew up the demo. Yeah, I'm not trying to, if I wanted to, take a demo and show, I've done it before. There's less comments when you don't blow up the demo. It's kind of like, people are freaking out that Biden's driving the car because he doesn't know how to drive a car. What the fuck? So everybody's kind of flipped out a little bit. There's people jumping ship from their so-called parties that they're not, what do they call it? Parties. I mean, anything but. But the buyers are coming here. I think the sellers are still going to push this down. I think in the end, the pound's fucked, and this is just nothing but a place to sell. And I'm sure for the moving average people, now imagine what they're thinking. They're looking at their moving average, or the trend line guys are saying, well, fuck, here's an obvious place to sell. Yeah, sell right now. We're right on the trend line. Then come back to the other side of the channel, cover here, but I'm going to get out. I'm going to start buying again down here, new lows. And on the 4 hour, that's the story. But on the 1 hour, it's like, hey, you know what? When it comes back to here, let's get out. I don't want to stick around for this nonsense. And see how the little bit more precision here on your so-called trend line. It's just a reason to take a trade, really. But yeah, this could meander here. It could slow down. But wow, when you go into these new highs that you haven't seen in a while, it is crazy town. It's crazy up here. These prices. Look at that. That's the big picture. Mr. Pip. That's my account. Call me Mr. Pip. It used to be an old movie, 70s. Well, Sidney Poitier. Call me Mr. Pip. Oh boy, so here's looks like a nice sell-off. So we're gonna make a little bit of money here. But yeah, I'm trying to demonstrate the idea of putting these orders in ahead of time, or in the market orders, which is, the market's orders are not very planned out. You have to be there. You gotta be out of your mind to trade at the market. Honestly, I think that proves it right there. Like, unless you're right in front of the market and it's that time, like right now, if you were to sell into that pattern, you know where you want to sell. You know where the Fibonacci is, and you're babysitting the fib, and you see it come up there, and you boom, 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 right here, boom, boom, boom. It's up 15 minutes, sell. It's up hard, sell hard. So otherwise, and then you just cash out as it comes back, or you can put in these buy limits now. If you're not in the market, I would say this is an obvious trade for the rest of the day. In a dream world, this is going to come down, blow this thing out, and just keep tanking. And I got targets that are 80 pips. This is 20 pips between these black lines, and this is the round number, this big one. But if it comes back to here, I'm out. Like, it's going to meander. I don't know. It's like, it's the end of Europe. It's closing. People are cashing out now, for God's sakes. Aren't they? I think people are buying that back. I mean, the volatility is so ridiculous right now. So we're going to scalp that. So I could scalp that on this one just to show you. I'm not saying you should take this trade. So we're going to peel this off now. To reduce our exposure and margin. Almost go flat on that. Okay, still in a little bit. So we're a little bit in, and now we can buy this. And it's just about the momentum. It's calming down. Now 15 minutes has gone by. We can drop some more. You can see the 5-minute chart. But if you fix the scale, you're always looking at pips. That's what I'm trying to say is like, if you how many pips are you trying to make? If you're trying to make 20 pips, you just made 18 on that. And if you go to the daily, you can't even see that trade. So looking at this is kind of presupposing you have the patience to wait for this thing to climax here and then come all the way back down to this last known top where the buyers are supposed to come in, right? This is the classic reason why pivots exist in the first place is people that shorted there. They're like, oh, let's get out. This is where we got in. And that's why you see a market pausing at those prices. But now we peeled off, we reduced the exposure, and now we see the 1-minute chart. We could still tank. This is nice. What the computer is writing for the frame for you, but looking at the pips is the thing here. So once you go to those time frames where you couldn't try to even make that many pips, like this one, 4 hour, this is going to take like 16 hours to get paid for this thing to dilly-dally here and then come all the way back and take out that low. That's going to take till tomorrow. If it ever happens. Some of these targets never happen. I mean, what is it going to take for this market to be here? 1 o'clock, we got to close here, and then by 5 o'clock, or 5 o'clock here, this is going to have to be 9 o'clock at night, and maybe coming into tomorrow, you start crushing into here. But then, of course, it's all over again. Put the buy limits in. You got the scalps built in, so you're going to have you got an iceberg of 200K sitting here with targets here, and the market comes down, it dags it retraces. That's all there is to it. Right now, I guess I'm holding the short until 12:30 for another hour. But yeah, the less you make, the less you risk, the less you make. So that account that I made $6,000 in, and that was trading with just one case. Trading the actually I made about $8,000 trading on a 3K trigger pull that had, like, the one that I showed you was written for, I don't know how many tickets were in there, but it had different exits. It was like 2 tickets. I think one was a 2K, one was a 3K, so it was like a 5K or something. But once you do that, then you're going to see your equity have a softer, you'll make money, and the balance between a hard stop and a soft stop, it's basically a soft stop trading. Scaling in and scaling out is saying, oh, yeah, it looks pretty good, but it's not like the best price in the world. Here we're getting the sell off now. And this would just be like, okay, top of the hour, get out. Just if we don't get taken out by our already predefined targets. And that's the other thing. If you've got the 8 pips and the 12 pips and the 14 pips pre-done, you don't have to worry about, oh gosh, let's take some of the position off, because you're already there. Okay, let's take a gander at this 15. Still crushing down. There's the 1 dripping down. There's the 1 minute. Screaming back to this obvious exit. And I'm going to buy in limits here just for demonstration purposes only for 1 hour, right? And don't repeat the price. So if we slam down into that and the bounce out of that, it's perfect. Perfect revolving door. This is screaming down pretty fast, so get ready to cash out of this, I think. So if I do right now, Okay, just to get the margin off. I'll peel off some margin there, so I'd get about 20K gone, 10K. Alrighty then, so we're just gonna scalp that. It looks like it dropped some more. That's the 1 minute chart. But you can see these people just come right in, and after 5 minutes, and boom, the clock is so critical. I mean, these people are not kidding. 11:30 is coming up. Look how this thing turns on a dime. It's incredible. Look at this shaved candle down here in the supply zone. It's hard to believe. I think what's hard to believe is when it comes screaming down in here, you're like, oh my god, it's gonna go to hell. The buyers came in there. See? It's good that we got out of something. And I could do this again. I can come back in here like this, okay? Sell again for an hour. So I'll put all these auctions in constantly, all day long. Sell up there. If I wanted to, who gives a fuck? Somebody go, oh, look at you took an account from $1,000 to 10 grand. So what? Can you do that every day, every week, every month, the rest of your life? Did you get lucky? Are you a fucking retard? I don't know. I don't care, but you know, so the people that are showing a moving average crossover trading system, they might as well just be showing you how to pick up women. Those books, you know, how to pick up hot women online. So I don't know, man. It's like to watch these guys with start their video, their forex video. They're in a Porsche. I'm like, what does this fucking have to do with my entry and how tight my stop is? You know, this whole thing, stops and targets and Gartleys and all that stuff. And the funny thing is that Carney guy that was patented the word harmonic trading. You couldn't say harmonic trading. Harmonica trading you could do, but not so it's retracing there. Look at so everybody covered there. I covered there some of my trades, but I put more sells in. So not a bad spread here. With the Hugo, the Trader's Way, I think has a tighter spread. So they're at 7. On the commissions, this is Pike's broker. So I'm doing the same thing here. This is I'm only up 137 bucks on this account. I feel like putting some buy limits in here though. Same thing. I'm on the British pound on all my platforms. So when I look at this chart, I actually have a different look. It's a slightly different template. I kind of feel different. Like, oh, it looks like it's going to tank. I'm looking for a short time frame here, 3 hours. So for 3 hours, I'll buy below this round number. I'm risking 30 pips to make 20 pips to make 33 pips here. So not you know, these are just that's like 9K sitting. These are all 1Ks on each rack. So I think I'd definitely like to buy beyond this for 8 hours. So 8 hours I'll buy real deep 8 hours from now because the probability of that trade working is pretty good. 6 hours near the bottom retest. And then let's just go crazy here and put this kind of aggressive 6 hours to drop that many pips. Yeah. Buyers are coming back in. Look at them. It's crazy. All right, so we're just barely short that thing now. I go back to the Hugo. Let's get us something here. I just took something off the table. I took a short off. So now we're going to go long in this window. Let's see. I got to zoom in. Hard to see that. Okay, so we're kind of just back to here, and it's just like that was some crazy stuff. That was the most brutal kind of move, but it's really like this one here in a way. Not exactly. This one has kind of some traps for the robot to sell, but if you're running a trailing sell bot, When he gets triggered, he does a cancel replace on every ticket. When he gets to here, man, does he make money. Like he stops running. It's, it's a counter trend entry system. So the whole time this is going up, trailing sells, cancel replace. Now that's something a robot could do. I wouldn't want to babysit that. As opposed to selling every new high at the market as it's coming up. And also, so it looks like we could drop here, and we're gonna pick up all these limits, and our target needs to be like this. On these, you're gonna buy more British pound than anybody could, like roast mutton. You could buy roast mutton. It's very British down here, and like you're gonna buy, and then it's scalped to here, right? But the pound, as we've seen, look at this launching point here. It trips into this, takes out the top of that, and then kabloom, breaks the so-called trend lines. And who can see that coming, right? My God. Incredible. Boy, the pound is just raucous. So be careful. If you're trading the pound, I'm just saying, be very careful today.